Mick, Motor City Blog, here with Queensrÿche, guys. Thanks for taking time out to speak with me today. It's an honor to interview you guys.
Right on.
Thank you.
Man. Where are you guys coming from last night?
Seattle.
Seattle, so you guys just came straight here. Yeah. You guys have 3 dates here. You get Saginaw, then Freedom Hill tomorrow, the one more in Colorado, then you got about a month off.
That's right.
So you
Head over to Europe in October.
Yeah, you guys have a big deal going in Bucharest in Romania, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, do we?
We're all over the map.
I mean, we're going everywhere. Right?
But it seems like there's been a lot of buzz over there in Bucharest for some particular reason for that show.
Oh. Well,
I knew about it. I'm just following the social media. It seems like everybody's really excited for you guys to come over there.
Yeah, listen, it's been going well. I'm not
Awesome.
complaining for sure. As of today, I think we actually started adding more dates as well in November and everything.
Oh, overseas.
Overseas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you guys, your new album's done really well. You know, number 23 in the Billboard chart. It sounds like it's back to the roots of the original Queensrÿche stuff. And you guys must be happy about the success of that and the fan response that you guys have received. So some of the songs on the album, one of the ones that really stood out to me was "A World Without." Where did you guys come up with the concept behind that song? Because it just seems really dark to me. A guy's wife dies during childbirth.
It's a beautifully happy song. It's beautiful sadness, that song. Well, I mean, the whole record was just a really great creative process for us. We didn't know what to expect when we first got into doing it. I mean, we'd only known Todd being in the band, back in, the middle of last year, basically. And we did some shows together, and then, soon after that, we moved on. The Queensrÿche thing was going well for us. We continued on by doing that with Todd in the band, and then, we wanted to, proceed and look at making another record. So we did. But the great thing about the creative part of the whole thing was that we didn't really know what to expect working together. And I think that added just a lot of fresh, new energy to what we did. So anyway, kind of a long story short, and the big answer for what you're asking is kind of, all the songs just started to take on this life and this creative collaboration, and they just kind of went in a direction for us. And, the writing process was all of us. We were throwing ideas around and having fun doing that. And A World Without was just kind of part of that process where, it was an idea, and everybody seemed to like the ideas. It started to kind of become something. And I had scratched out this idea of the framework of the tune, and I had given it to Todd on one particular evening. I was actually in Seattle, and he was at his place in Florida. And I just, I emailed him a sample of the song. And the great thing about that tune was kind of it was just kind of an instant, spontaneous thing that happened where he, wrote back, called me a couple hours later, and he was so inspired. He basically had written the lyrics and had sang the song. I mean, he had sent it back to me. Just so excited and feeling so good about it. It's just one of those things, it's so hard to explain if you're not there, but it was such a great, like I said, energy between all of us.
The song was titled that. Lots of times when you're songwriting something and you're saving it, you have to save the file so you create a name. And that was the way that I got it. It was called A World Without. And then when I heard the music, it just, it kind of wrote itself. Once I thought, okay, well, what would make me feel like I was in a world without anything, and so that topic to me, was really powerful, and the music just totally created the vibe for that sentiment, and it just, I think I wrote the melody and lyrics vocally, in like an hour, and I recorded it, sent it back, hey, are you still up? I want you to check out what I did, and he was like, this is great, and then everybody got it, and then they put their flavor on it, and that's when it became a full band thing. But the music dictates sometimes the topic. What do I feel when I hear this? Or if they say the song like Redemption, that was called Redemption before I ever got my hands on it. Okay, well let's go from there. And the chemistry in the band is so great that the hard part is limiting the great ideas into one song. You have so many great ideas, and well, let's save that for another one. It's not a matter of trying to song right. It's limiting all the great ideas that I think we collectively
One great
have.
aspect of A World Without, you saying it's one of your favorite, is it's the record company's favorite, and we're actually going to shoot a video for that song.
Wow, that's going to be a dark video, I imagine. Dark, beautiful video, but
Yeah, so we're planning on filming that in mid-September,
Very cool.
and along with another couple tracks.
You might want to leave the lights on when you watch the video.
Well, that's the reason why the calendar isn't full for September, is because we've been going back and forth with, you know, the company that's shooting the video and, you know, what works best with our schedule. So that's why we dedicated September to not being on the road and working on the video.
On this album, you guys actually all really collaborated and contributed stuff. You know, Parker got stuff, wrote some stuff on Where Dreams Go to Die. And y'all, you know, that's kind of unusual for the Queensrÿche brand that you guys have built over the years. The core of the band. It's pretty cool that you guys are kind of reinventing yourself, letting the newer guys have a crack at things. How was the whole process working with these guys, you know, going forward?
I think it was pretty organic. I mean, there were no rules, there were no set ways of doing it. And everybody that had good ideas, they were, you know, everybody put them on the table and everybody, you know, worked on them. And it was, what was exciting was that everybody was really, you know, throwing their best on the table and seeing everybody contribute to it. It's like a mold of clay. You know, everybody's throwing clay on it. It eventually molds into something really cool. And that was what was great about just collaborating with everybody and seeing everybody's energy go into the music.
Regardless of like the writing credits and everything else, everybody contributed on every song. So,
Yeah.
you know, even if somebody solely wrote a song, by the time it passes through everybody else's hands, it becomes something different, which really makes it, you know, makes it a lot. Yeah, it's more of a band and less of a, you know, so and so wrote this song, so and so wrote that one. It's like we all contributed to everything, which kind of made it really cool.
Plus, like Michael said, it was the, you know, the freedom, no limits. You know, it was like LT was saying about, you know, there was some great positive energy flowing, you know, throughout the whole process.
And then Scott, you had the idea for Midnight Lullaby, which leads into Where Dreams Go to Die, or I'm sorry, A World Without. So, and that was really a creepy kind of dark, like, wow, where's he going with this one? You know, as I was listening to the album, I read the lyrics and it kind of seems. Did you have any visions in your mind?
Well, the funny thing about that is that it actually happened in kind of the opposite way that you're mentioning. So the song came, which I wrote, you know, the kind of this framework of the tune, gave it to Todd, like we were saying. He was so inspired, sang, called back an hour later this one night going, my God, just take a listen, get out of bed and go listen to your email right now. That was so great. Tell me what you think. And then, you know, the song became its thing after the band got a hold of it and we turned it into that thing. And then we started talking later on as we worked on more songs and we were actually in the studio, kind of that process of recording. And we were talking about, you know, just more in depth. I was actually at that point finally getting into what the lyrics of the songs were about because I had been spending so much time on my end of things just with music and focused and trying to get, you know, I was in that headspace. So I started focusing on the lyrics and then Todd and I had a chat about the lyrics for that tune. And then he started going, you know, what if we started the thing out because of what the song was about? What if we started out with, you know, a baby? And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go now. Now we can have some fun. And then we just went back and forth on it, and it became
Well, and that's why,
a
you know,
creepy baby.
you know, but when people hear it, if they don't know and they just they see the next track and they listen, well, what is this baby? It's this creepy sound, and you know, and we're hearing this, you know, what is that? But when you learn the story, you know, that's the dad rocking the baby, and it's a wind-up lullaby toy, which is where you hear the lullaby music that, you know, that we wrote.
And those notes in that, Scott formulated that to be the actual what's the line in the guitar part in the song. He transposed that to this tinkering little
Yeah.
thing
Yeah, it was
It's way deeper than
basically,
you know, the
the
first
work.
quick listen would even realize, but you know, the video will tie it all in, and we're really happy about shooting the, you know, video for that song, because then, you know, visually it will all tie in, and the people that really don't know what Midnight Lullaby is about, it will all make sense. And you know, Queensrÿche's always tried to, you have to scratch more than the surface to really understand, you know, what we're trying to convey in our heads.
But Queensrÿche's always known as a really deep thinking man's metal band. You know, everybody loves that term around, and I agree with it. I think a lot of people are happy that you guys are kind of returning that multi-layered sound, you know, where you departed from the Tribe days and here in the Now Frontier. But a lot of fans are really happy, and they've been comparing this album to, say, the Promised Land album in some ways, you know, the deep introspection and thoughts and a little bit of darkness on there. Was there any intention that when you returned this album to go back to more of a darker side, maybe a common theme throughout the whole album, or did that just happen organically too?
Yeah, there was no agenda at all, you know, it just kind of started with us sending ideas back and forth, and that's basically what, you know, what we ended up with. There wasn't like, let's try to make it sound like this album or this album.
Right.
This is just kind of naturally what happened. So it's cool to hear people compare it to the older albums that, you know, we're all fans of.
There's flavors from, you know, what these guys always felt, you know, was the first 5 to 6 albums of their career. You know, there are flavors of that period throughout the new album. So, and I think that's, you know,
It sounds like those albums,
Yeah.
because we
They
wrote
wrote
those
them.
albums.
Yeah, they
And
wrote
so
them.
it's kind of like, it's in, you know, our DNA. That's just the way we write. And
Yeah,
we've always
yeah.
written.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though to get such great response from, you know, the media and the fans around the world. But so many people are putting it in that time period for us. You know, wow, it sounds like
It's a
it
great thing.
belongs in the Mind Crime Empire and Promised Land era, right back in then. Which, you know, also kind of ties us into working with Jimbo, you know, James Barton
Yeah.
on the record, who did those records with us back then. You know, so, you know, yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. When Todd joined the band a year ago, and we started working together, we moved on as Queensrÿche, you know, our focus at that, our, you know, confidence of working and doing more stuff is at the highest. Working on new material, you know, we're always looking down the road to see, you know, what we want to do, and we're just having fun doing that. So I think there's going to be all sorts of things that are going to surface from us that have to do with a lot of the past, you know. And I think it's just good energy. You know, that stuff was good energy back then, and this is good energy. And with that, I think it's just natural that we're going to, you know, have.
And tour coming up, and are you going to come back to the States, try and do some more touring over here before you go back in the studio again?
That's the plan, yeah. We're
That's the
actually
plan.
writing as well. We're actually in the process also is writing ideas, you know, for the next one, you know, for the next release. And like Scott said, we're kind of focusing on what we're doing now, but that will be fun.
Oh, excellent. So Todd, being the new singer in Queensrÿche, how has your life changed for you? You know, I know it's kind of a dream for you that you, when you were a kid, you know, you got, I think, what was it, wait for order, you stood in line for hours to get it signed at a record store?
Warning, yeah.
The Warning, yeah.
How has it changed? Well,
Well, he has lost a lot of sleep since he's joined the band.
We'll just splice that together. But do you have like an upholstery shop or something in Florida, or?
I had my own business for almost 18 years. I used to do a lot of custom car interiors. I was big into the car scene, and my business did a lot of work for decorators and guys that build custom bikes and boats and that kind of thing. So, you know, I was an artisan that way. But music was always my passion, and Queensrÿche was my favorite band since I was 14 years old. It was Queensrÿche and Iron Maiden. Those were my top 2 favorites. So yeah, in the way that it's changed, I mean, obviously, there are times that it seems a bit surreal, but you know, I've come to know these guys and their families, and we are very, very close friends, you know, outside of the music. So there are times when I really don't see them in the same way that I did growing up, like, wow, you know, it's because I'm in the band and I know these guys in a different way. And but there are those moments where you're like, wow, this is so amazing and so special. You know, I wish that, you know, others could just be in my shoes for a day doing this, you know, just so I could share what that feels like. It's you know, but at the same time, it's work, and there's sacrifices. You know, you're not home a lot, so you're missing out on time with your family and friends and things to do at your home, and you know, but obviously they've had a 30-year career, 30-plus year career, and one of the most devoted fan bases in the world. So I feel very honored, and I feel like a complete team player. They've embraced me and accepted me for what I have to offer. And you know, I'm a drummer of 28 years or whatever it is, and I play guitar, a little guitar. So from a creative aspect, I think that I'm able to lend, from a songwriting perspective, something that they never had before with a vocalist. It's just it's a different animal now. And you know, I'm able to throw more ingredients into the pot, and if they're able to use them, great. I'm not offended at all if they don't, but the fact that they give me so much creative equality is an amazing thing. I know a lot of people that have joined established bands that don't have a fraction of what I have gotten from these guys in the band. So it's a great thing, and we're all focused on the same page, musically, creatively, professionally, and we're all very fulfilled personally. You know, it's just a great new time for the band.
Excellent.
You know.
So you guys have the Cruise to the Edge tour, ship tour coming up soon too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys get on that whole thing? Is that something you guys have been a part of before?
Well, we've done the cruise thing quite a few times, you know, in the past, and you know, just through that, I mean, it's a fun experience. You know, the fans are always great, and I think a lot of our fans have gotten to enjoy us doing those things because you're just there. You know, everybody's there. You're hanging out. It's just kind of, you get to know everybody. And that one, you know, was just an offer that came through, and it's a great cruise. You know, so we felt it was time to kind of do it.
It's going to be wintertime soon anyhow, so time to get away. So all right, so it's been about 15 minutes. So in closing for the new guys, since you guys are part of Queensrÿche now, have they told you who killed Mary?
Did you know?
Well, we're still, do we know?
I always assumed she killed herself.
Fozzie killed Mary.
Stay tuned. They'll have to be in the band for another 30 years before I tell them anything.
Any plans to do another concept album along those lines?
There's always that.
And it's possible.
Yeah, excellent, man. Just don't do a Minecraft 2 again.
Promise.
Yeah, Minecraft 2.5. Gentlemen, thank you so much, man. It's been an honor.
Thanks a lot.
Look forward to seeing you guys out there. We'll be on the pit, Carla and I, so give
Great.
some love, man.
Awesome.
We'll give her lots of love, you know.
Thanks.
Give me love.